of football was rocked by what has happened Sunday midnight on Easter. I am Han Saleh. This is episode 18 of the 433 podcast. Of course, everything from the world of football is secondary this week due to the breakaway league news. So, in case you've been living in a rock, 12 major European football clubs have signed on a breakaway league, which means that they will opt out of the UEFA Champions League and they will be playing on a weekday basis a league of their own. With 5 more clubs that have yet to sign and will be signing in, the clubs involved is Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, Real and Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Internazionale, AC Milan, and Juventus. So, apparently this is a brainchild of Real Madrid's president Florentino Perez, the American owners of Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Andrea Agnelli of Juventus as well. These are the driving force behind it. These guys, they are the driving force behind it. They have been planning this for almost 2.5 years now. In accordance to that, also the system is a 2 groups of 10 with the top 4 from each group qualifying for the quarterfinals in a 2-legged tie until a one-off final to determine the champion. So kind of like the Champions League, except the Champions League have the round of 16, but this one has straight into the quarterfinals. This is what I've been heard. I'm trying my best to fill up for those of you who is waiting for this week's episodes. And the teams that did not qualify for these quarterfinals, they will await next season and will be playing with no severe punishments or relegations whatsoever. So why are they doing this, US? Is because it's guaranteed money for them, funded by American companies such as JP Morgan. So what happened was these 12 big clubs, they want to monopolize the TV rights, the sponsorships among them and among them only. So if you think about it, right, no matter what happened, they will roll to the feeder station with their money, funded again by the American owners, JP Morgan, as I said before. So what triggered this, as far as I know, is when they, what has happened is that FIFA and UEFA, before I get into what triggered them to do that, I would like to address this. Hopefully you're still following me, trying to catch up. So what has happened when this news broke is that FIFA and UEFA are realizing this and how much their banner and competitions are going to lose value without all these big teams. They strike and use their stroke announcing that teams that are involved in this European Super League will be banned from domestic leagues and competitions. They will be banned from Champions League, and they will be, most importantly, this is the part that triggered a lot of all the monkey wrench. The players that are involved in this, meaning the likes of Messi, Ronaldo, Aguero, Zlatan, Mohamed Salah, Lukaku, Van Dijk, Sergio Ramos, all of these players will be banned from playing international teams, friendlies, or competition, i.e. the European Championships coming up, the World Cup coming up as well. So after all that threat, there were report midweek, somewhere around 2 nights ago, that Singapore time, that players started to come out, pundits, even my podcast friends over on our Instagram, we have been DMing each other saying on how ridiculous this is, and I had DM asking me as to why I'm silent about this, which side am I on, and stuff like that. Listen, guys, I am obviously opposed to this Super League from a fan's perspective. No matter how you put it, we can put it as we are pundits, we are ex-players, we are podcasters. we are always fans first. No matter or how severe the consequences, we have to be fans first. And that's the beauty of the game. I don't want to see El Clasico 4-6 times per calendar year. I don't want to see the big six Premier League clubs battling each other to be crowned king of their own leagues again. Like over and over again. I certainly don't want to see the team we share the same stadiums, like the two Milan's club, battling each other a number of times. From a fan's perspective, it gets bored. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't feel special. They meet each other a numbers of time within the season, because the idea was they joined the Super League and then they will be playing in the domestic league. So can you imagine Madrid and Barcelona are supposed to meet like two times in La Liga, and then they're gonna meet two times more on the European Super League first phase, and then when they qualify, let's say if they qualify to the quarterfinals, they are scheduled to meet another time. So you know what I mean by that. It's just a lot of meetings. It makes the events not special anymore, and especially when the losing team in this competition will not have any knock effect on this, knowing that they will be there the following season. It gets bored. It doesn't mean anything, right? From a fan's perspective. That being said, with the players and the teams, they will have nothing to fight for, and that can only means that levels of the game will drop, and there will come to a time where it's not going to be fun for us anymore. And the only person that is gaining from all this is the businessman, because it's guaranteed money. And from a business standpoint, Manchester United, Liverpool, Juventus, Chelsea, they doesn't need the money that much because of the pandemic. They didn't record any losses. They don't need it. The ones that need it is the club in debt, like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester City, who just announced like 3 weeks ago that they are in 86 million debt. The two Milan's club, probably. You see, the reason they want to leave UEFA is that they feel like the competition in the Champions League, mostly, they feel they should be getting a bigger piece of the pie of the television rights, the sponsorship, because they believe, and rightly so, by the way, that they are the ones who bring eyeballs to the product. They are the ones that bring the crowd pre-COVID, the sponsors, because they are a bigger fish, and it's their players who brings the money to this banner called the UEFA Champions League. So I'm no businessman, but I feel for them too as well. I'm trying my best here to fill up everything I can. So with that being said, when this thing occur midweek, these owners, after all seeing all these protests, outside of Stamford Bridge and all that, I feel, let me gather as much as I can here, but they're just trying to, they're just waiting for their side of the story to be presented to cover when all of this went down midweek. Good old Fiorentino Perez, like a good little soldier, go on a Spanish midnight show and conduct an interview saying that they will create their own World Cup, their own competition, their own whatever needs to be done. He's becoming a demographically, he said 24, 23 years old, doesn't want to see Real Valladolid face Villarreal. It's conducted stupidly, if you were to ask me, a stupid interview. And the words that are being used for him, though, I mean, I understand where he's coming from, for sure. But the thing is, the thing that I have a problem with is that the timing isn't right. It's just isn't right. We are smack down in the middle of a pandemic. Business everywhere have been affected, and they come up with like this is greed at its finest, and it's just not right for football, and dare I say, not right for humanity and for business as well. And I totally disagree with everything that's been laid out. And I'm shocked, as of right now, we are recording this podcast, 6 teams from the Premier League have backed out. Chelsea and Manchester United are the first ones to back out. I think after Guardiola speak out about this in the press, I think that's the icing on the cake right there. And I think from there, Liverpool, John W. Henry and the FSG have issued an apology. Manchester United's Ed Woodward scheduled to step down by the end of the season. The other teams like Barcelona on their Twitter website saying that they will not enter if the Barca Socios say so, and they demand a referendum as well. So I think Barcelona will be the next one out. So what's left now is just Juve, the two Madrids, and the two Milans, which I think without the rest of the team, they won't be able to do anything. And looks like is foregone conclusion that the European Super League won't happen. And I just opened it today on Facebook that ESPN have released an article, Andrea Agnelli, for the Juventus owner, that's saying that it's probably not going to happen because of all the backout of the club. So much to the delight of the fans, FIFA and UEFA, I for one am delighted as well, because it's never gonna work. I think maybe 5 or 6 years down the road, maybe they will come back with a different plan. I think the execution wasn't really that good, because it's just like announcing, and it feels like the billionaires club coming to take over. And I think no matter how much of a billionaire you are, if you take on fans, it's never really going to work. Unless you got everything planned and it's good. Like they might come back with the Women's Champions League, with the women's football, or like a website for them. They might come back with a different plan, but I think all this is just putting the delights of FIFA and UEFA. Having said that, FIFA and UEFA, to me, they are the biggest hypocrites, two-faced snake clowns I've ever seen in my life, ever. This after I watched their press conference. They thank Sevilla, Bayern, PSG, and those people. While I'm totally opposed to this proposal, there is something as to why I called them hypocritical and snakes. There is something I want to get it off my chest, and I think a lot of you would have understand if you saw some of my comments on Facebook. While I'll applaud their strong response to this really shows that UEFA, they are really capable and willing to use their voice as an organization with a strong response based on little more speculations than the circumstantial evidence, when it directly challenges their power structure, the monopoly that they hold over football. And of course, I'm referring to something that recently occurred 2 weeks ago. Andre Cudella and Glenn Kamara being suspended over that racism row they have. And not only that, racism keeps happening over and over again. Like, let me ask you something. Since the Luis Suarez and Evra's row, right? How many times have racism keep happening in football? Not only just racism though, like football hooliganism. At the top of my head right now, Luis Figo being thrown a pig head by the Barcelonistas ultras. Where was the Spanish FA back then? The Ferdinands and John Terry's case 6-7 years ago, during QPR against Chelsea. Where was the so-called football, and I'm doing the air quotes right now, the so-called football governing bodies? Dani Alves being thrown a banana while taking the corner kick to the in a Spanish La Liga match. Where were the FAs back then? Where was UEFA? The most they do is kick racism out of football, kick racism out of football, kick racism out of football, but it keeps happening. You can't just put out a poster and expect it to work just like that. They have to do something, right? I feel, to me, it's like, and it feels like bitter. It feels like I'm complaining, but heck yeah, I'm complaining, because there isn't enough severe punishments. Like, we recommend the financial fair play. Where is the punishment then? Barcelona got punished 2 transfer windows. Chelsea, Manchester City, 2-3 transfer windows, and 2-3 transfer window comes from a January transfer window. Does it really matter, the January transfer window though? Like January and January, it comes with two transfer windows, and by the next window they have already set their targets. Like, what kind of stupid punishment is that, So, and the icing on the cake, the Qatar World Cup controversies. You can go and watch the documentary over on YouTube about how terrible the construction workers from different parts of the world are being abused by those Qatar princes. It comes to a point where they are suicidal and being killed just to feed off FIFA and their goddamn World Cup, which is gonna happen soon. And it's not okay with this. Another example of this, the COVID-19 pandemic last season. What, players got like 3 weeks break after the season ended, and then they start preseason. You can use, and people will headbutt me back and say that, oh, they did get a rest during the pandemic. That is a pandemic. They're not allowed to train. They're not allowed to keep their fitness up and running. And then when they resume football back, they only, by the end of the season, they only have 3 to 4 weeks rest for preseason, just because UEFA demands leagues to start, because they have schedule to follow, because the Euro 2020 has been fast forward to Euro 2021 later this year. Like in June is going to happen. And that is why I'm not surprised by this year's result. Teams at home losing here and there, COVID, no fans, and I'm not surprised by all this, because it all falls in the hands of football's governing bodies, and I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I do not like what they are doing to this. These are professional players. They can only do so much. Yes, they are being taken care of, trained well, with coaches and whatnot. And you know what? People say Jurgen Klopp is whining about schedules, and this is why. And at times I disagree with Jurgen Klopp. I like him as a coach, but he's been really whiny this season. But at the same time, when I said all this, it just comes to a point as what he's been saying. The reason I'm bringing this up is because how much it bothered me when I watched that press conference yesterday from UEFA, and how far UEFA representatives are willing to go to lengthy when it disrupts their pay year-round with the European Super League. When I watch how they have conducted their action by threatening these clubs and players, it makes me want to vomit, because it's obviously an act of desperation. The worst part about this is the fans, like you and I, viewers and listeners, and all over the world, we are the one who stopped this. We are the one battling for football. We are the one who made a difference. We are the one that erased and cancelled this European Super League from happening. Not them, those goddamn officials, it's us. And by saying that, if they still, the words that have been used just now, if they still don't realize that's a whole lot of wrong with that, then I think they are a much bigger hypocrite than these American owners, Florentino Perez, and those guys. Because while it's money greedy from their end, and I'm referring to these American owners who plan this European Super League, at least they do it in our faces, and they admitted that their intentions. FIFA and UEFA, meanwhile, do it through the fans, using us as shields, and doing it through the back door. While all this is going on, in the end, it's gonna be them who claim the credit for it. Because they put out press conference, they put out press on how they've won the battle, and I'm sick to death about the hypocrisy and the comments about snakes, while they don't even realize they are as much bigger snakes and phony as the rest of these billionaires tycoons are. It's a bunch of cowards, snitches, clowns, officials who doesn't give an F about the clubs and players. I mean, for the love of God, they are treating the players like a machine with no brakes anyways. Club football end the season, and they set up UEFA Nations League. It was so unnecessary, and last year, players have like I said before, a 3 weeks break, and by August, they demand season to start accordingly, to schedule and fit their regular season schedules for all, because they got Euros coming up later, they got the Copa Americas coming up later. They know some of these Europe best players are gonna get involved. Then now today, it was being announced that the new format of the Champions League is icing on the cake right there. There will be a 36 teams instead of 32, which they have given 2 more spots to the top 5 leagues, which is going to affect the schedule of these players and their year and round. I don't get it. I mean, if you can't really see my point on how they are using players, clubs, and fans to feed their own pocket money, then I don't know what to say, really. And the reason I'm pointing out all this is simply because when I see how panicked they react, and this is honestly a little part of me wants the Super Cup to happen, at first just to slap them in the face, just to slap these UEFA officials in their hypocritical snitches clowns face. I really do. I think they have agendas. I don't like them. I don't trust them. And you talk about getting rid of these American owners from football clubs, right? I say get rid of these goofs as well, those officials, Platini, whoever that's in charge, because they are no angel either, and they have not changed from Sepp Blatter either. So to me, it's just simple. It's pot calling the kettle black, if you ask me, and I don't like it. I don't trust it, and I think it's one of those things where only time will tell on how much some fans are gonna turn back to say, you know what, we should have just ran away from these banners. I mean, I'm sorry, that's how I feel. At the same time, I'm opposed to these European Super Cups. I don't want to see it, but UEFA could have just made this a lot easier by thanking the fans, thanking for doing it. But no, they wanna put their brave face on, and as if like they won the battle. No, they're not won the battle. Yes, correct. There's gonna be a lot of trust that is being misused here. They're gonna take a lot of time to gain the trust back. But I don't trust these people. And as fans, as podcasts doing the product and the sport that we love, I don't trust them. I don't like them. And the clowns, the snitch on their faces shows it all.